they were no longer African. They start acting European, right? And so when the slave trades begin, they help facilitate the capturing, the kidnapping of Afro people. All right? So y'all understand.
And for school, it produces a ton of violence, and has to, because you can't actually enslave people without violence, right? Because they will resist. They will try to not become enslaved, right? And so
understand this. This is why you have so much violence in Africa. All right. All of the customs of the Europeans when they went to Africa sowed nothing but violence between them and the Africans. Period. Let's make this understood. It sowed the seeds of violence. All right. And the same way you got the same women, think about this. The same women you got running around YouTube actually telling people that they need to get rid of that they want us exterminated. The same women that blocks us from trying to achieve any kind of success in trying to earn an honest living, as they say. All right, understand this. Are the same women that would have sold us out all throughout our history. All right, you like the Corazon woman, you like the crystal glass Corazon. All right, telling and saying how good it's so, and a lot of these women, all right, when they get with these men, talking about they respecting us. How come you won't stand up to us, to the white man? Because you chose the white man. All right, they actively chose this man, and then want me to have a problem with it. All right, and so this is basically what you have. Hold on. And this is their legacy, but they want to deny this legacy. But research is blowing this legacy up. Hold on, let me see where this is.
In the years following Franz Kuber's death, Lene continued to live in the house that she had shared with her Danish husband. There were very few stone houses in Oslo, and they signaled both wealth and power. Around the time Lene was born, Felix Svane had begun building one close to Christiansborg, just beyond the small clay huts that housed the surplus population of forced slaves. Svane had bought Governor Boris's summer house for an acre of brandy and had dismantled stone by stone. He collected other stones from near and far and had them all carried to the building site, but the work was never finished. By the time Lene lived in her own house, it was both a base of her operations as a trader and a mark of her status.
So did y'all hear this? So she has a Danish husband. She lives by a slave fort. They build her a stone house. That is a mark of her, a black woman, being a slave trader. Understand this, and a mark of her status. When I kept telling y'all that I was like, something's wrong. We've been sold out from the beginning. I kept saying, now other things are backing me up. Hold on, let's go back a little bit.
To wait on him personally at the fort. So, Sophia, would you turn the light on again? So I will read you the beginning of this, and then of chapter 4. And then I think it'll be close to time to end because I was planning on 40 minutes and I now have 5.5 left in that section. So this couple that I start chapter 4 with, which starts in 1769, is Lene the Mulatress or Mulatress and Lene Kuber, as she was known in the community in Oslo, and Franz Kubers, who came out from Copenhagen as surgeon in 1756. And Lene Kuber is one of the daughters of the trade. She's maybe my best example of somebody who in the 18th century sets up a household around a European man, the way that I was describing before. And the chapter is called Danish Christian Mulatresses. In 1769, Lene Kuber's husband died in his rooms at Christiansborg, not in the house he shared with Lene in Oslo. Yet his death reverberated in both worlds. Interim governor Franz Joachim Kuber was well known in Oslo, having lived in Africa longer than most European men. He was first hired as surgeon at Christiansborg in 1756, but soon advanced to trader and was stationed at the Danish trading post at Ketar, further east down the coast, for a number of years. In 1768, he returned to Christiansborg to serve as governor. By then, he was accustomed to a high level of comfort. He had 5 slaves just to wait on him personally at the fort. His death was marked at the fort with a full ceremony he had requested, an honorable funeral with cannon salutes and the flag on half-mast. He saw to his affairs in Oslo with equal attention to detail, requesting that the secret council made sure that Lene, all those people who worked for him, and people in Oslo generally had what they needed to perform a proper service in his memory. Money for mourning costumes, food, and drinks. His 2 favorite slaves, he told the council, should go to his daughter and a father. In the years following Franz Kuber's death, Lene continued to live in the house that she had shared with her Danish husband. There were very few stone houses in Oslo, and they signaled both wealth and power. Around the time Lene was born, Frederik Svane had begun building one close to Christiansborg, just beyond the small clay huts that housed the surplus population of fort slaves. Svane had bought Governor Boris's summer house for an acre of brandy and had it dismantled stone by stone. He collected other stones from near and far and had them all carried to the building site, but the work was never finished. By the time Lene lived in her own house, it was both a base of her operations as a trader and a mark of her status. Unlike many West African women who made their living through trade, she probably did not sit in the market herself. We can imagine her helping her slaves set up a stall with goods and meals to sell, and at home she would have overseen the management of her large household.
So, we'll pause that right there. So, what's up, USMC vet? Simplify, man, simplify. I don't know if I got you, DK Phantom. All right, so are y'all understanding now? All right, Daughters of the Trade. Review that whole video. It's an eye-opener. All right, so this gives you a whole new perspective of the black man ain't never did nothing for nobody, right? Whereas it should be the black woman has always been an obstruction to the freedom of Afro people. Period. All right, and you don't need all of them to be an obstruction. I'm pretty sure that there are probably some good black women working at Google right now, but we know that I got 1 or 2 that's been on my channel almost since the takedown, right? Since before the takedown, to slow my channel up. This has been happening for years now, and they threaten that these are women from Google. I think they're from Google, but threatened me that they had the know-how and the means to slow my channel down. They gave me a cease my channel, cease talking about or making people aware of what's going on with black women, or they'll do something with my channel. That's how I know that what was going on. And I told Google that what's going on with my channel is outright racist and sexist. I should have said, well, you know what? I may have saved the threats, but it's been, I don't know what I did with them. All right. So this is the nature of what's been going on. Dang, y'all, I got to pack, be out tomorrow. But anyway, so this is the nature of what's been going on. All right. And so these women have been betraying us from the beginning. They've been betraying us from the beginning. All right. Our problem right now is we got to fight on our hands, and it's not with the black woman. They have no power over us. They have no power over any man that has started to awake. If we have a good woman by our side, they have no power over her. The reason why these black women are starting to suffer is because they are totally on their own now. The simps can't help them because what had nothing, right? Dudes like me, we start to see them as how wicked they really have been towards us. So I'm not helping them. All right. I really don't have a patience for any women that think that they're going to try to run me. I just don't have that kind of patience. Right. And so this is basically it. And so this woman has been just the piece for every Caucasian group that set foot in Africa. All right. And so we wonder, because most of us are Aboriginal, how they got a foothold. And surely enough, a lot of our cultures end up being betrayed by these women. Right? Because they want something different. Not good, not better, just different. Don't have to be good so they could say they did it. The best way I could put it is I seen some of the dudes come down here to Brazil. All right. I've seen some dudes come down here to Brazil, and they sit up there and they talk like, oh man, I had me a Brazilian, this, that, and the other. And I was like, okay, so and what? Or these dudes that be like, oh man, this is a fine woman, and the first thing they do is turn her around and say, show your behind. Now I love the body of a nice looking woman. Don't and for the ones that ain't ashamed to show it off, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm not gonna act like that the only good part of the woman is her behind. But for the dudes that do, that shows you what not only what they think about the woman, all right, but it shows you how their mamas raised them. All right, let's say that. It shows you exactly how their mama raised them.